one of the guys who was kind of starstruck. He was a rock and roll player. He played bass in a band, and every time any celebrity would walk by, he'd run out and get their autograph and get on a first name basis, get their phone number, call them at Christmas time, sell them fish for their Christmas parties, etc. He just had that kind of personality. And he goes, "Let's be world famous." And when he said that, everybody's looked at him like, "What? Are you nuts?" There he goes, And John goes, "Well, but wait a minute, why not?"
The biggest part of being world famous is to make a difference for you as a human being. Every human being, not just someone who's buying fish, but anybody who comes in contact with us, we're committed to making a difference for you for that moment.
Because there is a tendency to go back into, oh, well, I'm selling fish, And no, you're not. You're not selling fish. We're doing something more than selling fish here.
I had no idea that Pike Place Fish could have such an impact in the world.
Just make it birdie,
When I was 25 years old, I took the business over, and I really didn't know how to manage people at that time. The only way that I knew how to actually run a business was to be kind of like a tyrant boss. You did what I told you or else, and I would watch you every second. It was a big step for me to turn from a tyrant owner to someone who actually trusted people and to give away power.
My wife worked here in the market, and she knew John, and suggested that I had to call him. Well, and I had started a consulting business, and she thought I should be making more money.
We were on the borderline of going under at that time, actually here at the market. And when he showed up, he said, he wanted us to hire him as a consultant. We said, there's no way we're going to hire you right now.
So basically what I told him was that, well, we'll have a meeting in which we get everybody together. We will create a future, and we will do it in a way that allows it to fulfill itself, to become fulfilled. And if after 3 months you don't see some progress towards that future happening, we'll quit. You can fire me.
With that agreement, I did hire him.
So in these meetings that we would have, in the beginning, everybody drank beer and smoked cigarettes, and there was a lot of swearing. And when I introduced this whole idea of that you could create reality, and I was like, it took a while, many meetings, and one by one, they kind of started to get it.
How we cut the swordfish. Part 2.
What came down yesterday?
How to make clams?
Maybe in the bathroom.
What we mean by the power of personal responsibility is that you are responsible for everything that shows up in your life and how you react to that certain situation. You have the choice. But most human beings don't know that. Like they become a victim of the circumstance. And we do a lot of work with what's the conversation that goes on between your ears. If I come to work and I see somebody that's really offline, the first conversation that shows up for me is blah, blah, blah. It's not a nice one. And I could either react with that employee through that conversation, or I can actually notice that that's what's showing up for me and choose another conversation called, he's a great employee and he has a problem right now that I need to support him in. So I come to him and I be with him differently. when we hire people, we let them know that we don't have jobs here. We have just an opening. We have a position that's available if you make the team. And if you're here for 3 months, pretty much they get, through the 3 months, they'll get that distinction.
The criteria for even being on this team is that you're committed to the purpose. If you weren't committed to the main purpose, you know, you wouldn't even want to be on the team. Whatever it is that you are all committed to as a central purpose has to be purposeful. It can't be just merely to survive better, because you'll end up manipulating yourself and other people. It's got to be something that touches your heart, and I really mean that.
How big is this one? How big is this one? Yeah! Whoa!
You understand? I've never seen it.
They're going crazy out here!
Take that to the bank.
If you want to have a dynamic company with people who are turned on about their jobs and their life and producing outrageous results in terms of the game they're playing, you want to open up their creativity. See, it's far more powerful if I could see you as a creative, powerful human being capable of creating reality, and have you and I be aligned on the same purpose and expressing it as selling fish or making automobiles or selling real estate or whatever, and allow you to use your own resources and creativity to contribute to the game we're playing. The way to manage that kind of a group is stay out of the way. Because there's, you know, you got 15 heads are way better than one. Do you know what I mean?
Excellent! Excellent!
My experience, what I've noticed is if you cut the steaks at a little less angle, they're not going to be quite as big, and they'll be a little more personal, which when it's like one single serving. Yeah, and most people, like, rather than split a steak, would rather have their one. So if you just kind of turn it a little bit, I've just found that it makes the steaks a little
We
smaller.
create this context for personal growth and development. So in other words, each person will ask you, as a fishmonger, what's the next thing for you to master in the game here? What do you want to take on? And they'll think about it, and there's all these different things to master, and maybe it's, I want to be able to fillet salmon like Sammy. Sammy is like this mastered, with a knife, he's just incredible, you know. So we'll set it up, hey Sammy, will you coach so-and-so to fillet, you know?
Everyone gives everyone permission to coach each other. Whether you're the newest guy here or whether you're the owner, you have permission to coach everyone and anyone in between. The owner can coach the little guy can, whatever little guy. And how coaching works is, you know, you're there and you see that you could possibly make a difference for this person, you know, by saying a few, giving them a few pointers from your perception, you know what I mean? And coaching is the most powerful if there's an intention behind it. And the intention is to empower the other person. If that's not present, then the coaching probably won't come across as coaching, it's going to come across as make wrong. You know what I mean? Because it's two different things. You can make someone wrong and and produce a result, which is pretty limited. Or you can coach someone in a way to empower them and create a result that's unlimited.
So we do a lot of work on being a coach for someone in a way where they can hear the part that's powerful for them.
We have a responsibility when we see that coaching needs to be implemented, to actually speak up, say it, even if it's uncomfortable. Coaching sometimes is uncomfortable. And like what I want to do is I want to be the best coach that this place has ever had, or one of the best, you know, like that's my intention, is to really master coaching.
29.74 with the cat.
One back one. Yeah.
Here it comes.
So now, creating the future, the idea here is if you tell the truth about the future, what I mean, if you, like a fact, what's really so about the future is that it is unknown. It's really not known. And people don't like that too much. They like to think that it's predictable because then they have the sense of control and they're more comfortable with that. What we're proposing, though, is that if you're willing to kind of allow for the unknown nature, the uncertain nature of the future, see the other side of it being a little bit uncomfortable, is that once you kind of get past that, what you notice is also anything's possible. You step into the unknown, into anything's possible, and you look at what inspires you. So in other words, it's not a figure out phenomena, it's more like down here, you know, what lights my life up phenomena. When you create this extraordinary possibility for the future, and you commit to it, now people create inside of that context to have it happen. That's what we're doing here.
28 waggle on 2. Ready to break. Get him in. These are tough. Down to me. Time to go home.
I think this may be a movement. You know, that's one of our commitments, that is that this might be a movement in the business world, that people aren't numbers anymore, you know, that they're actually human beings, and for employees to start relating to them as human beings and to commit to making a difference in their life.
Management by inspiration is the style, and to keep the spirit alive, meaning the purpose of why we're doing this alive, they keep speaking it and reminding people and coaching people and supporting people in generating it for themselves.
The truth is, this is the best crew I've ever had in 35 years. I've been in business a little more than 35 years, 38 years. And it's the youngest crew I've ever had, but it's the best. They've produced the best results. I had the best relationship with these kids that I've ever had with anybody. Maybe it's got something to do with who I'm being, you know, and the way I'm supporting them. But these guys are great, and I love them, and they love me.